My parents forbade me from ever entering their bedroom. I finally broke in, and I think the knocking I've heard my whole life was my sister, asking me to kill her. There are rules in every family. Don't leave your wet towel on the floor. No TV until your homework is done. Normal things. In my family, we had all of those plus one more. One rule that was absolute, unspoken, and enforced with a silent, terrifying finality. You do not go into mom and dad's bedroom. It wasn't just a knock-first situation. The door was always locked. I was never, ever, for any reason, allowed inside. Not to ask a question, not to retrieve a stray toy that had rolled under the door. That room was a fortress, and for my parents I was an invader. And from as far back as my memory goes, I knew why I wanted to go in. It was the knocking. It wasn't a constant sound. It was subtle. A soft, rhythmic thump, thump, thump that you could only hear if you were standing in the hallway right outside their door. It came from inside, from the far wall of their room, the one that backed up against the old linen closet. I first noticed it when I was maybe 6 or 7. I thought it was the pipes. But the sound was too steady, too intentional. The curiosity of every child is a powerful force. A few times, I found the door unlocked by mistake. I'd sneak in, the thick carpet muffling my footsteps. The room was always dim, the heavy curtains drawn. It smelled of my mom's faint lavender perfume and my dad's cedarwood aftershave. It was just a normal bedroom. A big bed, a dresser, a tall, imposing wooden wardrobe against the far wall. And when I got close to that wardrobe, the sound was clearer. Thump, thump, thump. It was coming from behind it, from inside the wall. I always got caught. It was like my mother had a sixth sense. I'd be in there for less than a minute, and I'd hear her footsteps in the hall. The look on her face wasn't just anger. It was a deep, primal panic, a terror that made her features sharp and strange. The punishments were swift and severe. No TV, no friends, grounded for weeks. My dad would handle the lectures, his voice a low, cold monotone that was far scarier than yelling. There are places in this house that are ours, and ours alone. You will respect that, or you will find yourself respecting nothing at all. As a teenager, I tried a different approach, and thought that direct confrontation will do the thing. I asked them at the dinner table one night, "Why can't I go in your room? And what's that knocking sound I always hear?" Silence. The clinking of cutlery on plates stopped. My dad slowly put his fork down and leveled a gaze at me that was as hard and cold as granite. My mom just stared at her plate, her knuckles white where she gripped her knife. "There is no knocking sound," my dad said, his voice dangerously quiet. "And you will drop this. This is the last time we will ever speak of it. If you mention it again, or if I find out you have tried to enter our room again, the consequences will be something you cannot begin to imagine." Am I understood? I understood. I dropped it, but I never forgot. My mother's behavior only deepened the mystery. She was a good mom, loving in her own distant way. She went to work, she cooked, she cleaned. But any free time she had, she spent in that room. She'd disappear behind that locked door for hours on end. Sometimes I'd press my ear to the door and just listen. I never heard a TV or music, just a profound, heavy silence, occasionally punctuated by her soft, humming a tune with no melody, or the faint sound of her whispering to someone who never whispered back. Now I'm 21. I've saved up enough from my part-time job to finally get my own place, a tiny apartment across town. I'm leaving, and a single, overwhelming thought has dominated my mind for weeks. It's now or never. I can't leave this house without knowing. This secret has been a silent, third parent to me my entire life. A ghost at every family dinner, a shadow in every hallway. I have to cast the light on it before I go. I told my dad I was ready to move out. He was relieved. That's the only word for it. There was no sadness, just a weary sense of relief. He and my mom wished me luck, told me they were proud. I asked him, one last time, my voice trembling slightly, "Dad, before I go, please, just tell me what's in the room." Subscribe for part 2.